How did, how did today go? How do you rate today versus the?
I thought it was our best day yet, just all around. All three phases, I thought were solid. Still got a lot of improvement to do, but first day of pads, I think everyone came out focused. It was a physical practice, but at the same time, I thought we took care of each other took care of each other also. Wasn't too many guys on the ground, and I was pleased.
You're looking in a lot of different directions, but this is Mike McGlinchey's first padded practice. I mean, did you watch him at all? And if you did, how did he do?
From what I saw out there, when live plays and stuff, I'll notice him when, a run's going at him and stuff. Pass plays, I'm looking down the field and stuff. And the one-on-ones, I was over with the receivers, DBs, so I'll see most of that on tape. But looked good out there from what I saw live.
You talked about Breida a little bit the other day. Anything noticeable with him in terms of confidence from where he was a year ago, just feeling more comfortable, anything like that?
Yeah, it's very noticeable. Yeah, it was very noticeable. You could see it on tape. Just when we got to February and we're watching the cut-ups in the offseason, you could see those last 4 games that kind of start to click for him, really get the feel. He's got a lot of ability. He's tough. He runs hard. And I think, we could see it on tape, and he's a smart guy who could feel it himself too. And you could tell when he came back here in the offseason that he came back with a different confidence. He took care of himself, worked hard in the offseason, was great in OTAs, and the 40 days were away. He even worked harder and was even more ready to go when we got back. And he's been pretty impressive these 3 days.
It seemed like you guys integrated a lot of stuff with the tight ends on offense. How important is that going to be for you, having these tight ends integrated in this offense?
It's always important. All 5 eligibles, whoever it is, and I didn't even realize that today, tell you the truth, because it's almost balanced in all the situations. It just depends what the coverages are. And sometimes when the coverages take the receivers away, tight ends got to step up, and same with backs. And if you're a guy who gets on a route, you have to be able to do something for us, because you never know when the ball's coming to you.
What have you seen from Kittle so far?
He's we were very impressed with Kittle last year, and I talked some about it yesterday. All my days are running together, but he was banged up a lot of last year, and he came in very healthy. He's also worked. He's got his explosiveness back. He's a physical guy who can block well, and he's got a year in the system where he's got a lot more confidence. So he's not sneaking as much out there, and he's definitely moving in the right direction.
John, at one point in the offseason, mentioned he was going to look into things you guys could do maybe on the injury front to maybe prevent injuries from happening. Obviously, that was an issue last year, and I remember you guys had a pretty physical training camp last year. Was that an emphasis to maybe dial back the physicality early in training camp with the pads coming out?
No, not at all. I think training camp's the only time, and it's the only time that we'll put football pants on the entire year, except on Sundays. There wasn't one. You're allowed 14 padded practices during the year. Not one of those 14 do we ever put pants on. On those 14 practices, we keep pads on for team run and team pass, which is 20 reps. And I promise you, one guy's not getting all those 20 reps. So a player gets an average of about 10 shoulder pad practice reps a week during the season. And so if you want to take care of them in training camp, that's fine. You better train them to play football in the season then too. But now they're worn down, they're not recovered from Sunday, and it's just so. And everyone's got different philosophies, but we try to never go to the ground. We try to never tackle. But if we're in a profile position where we can thud a guy up and wrap, you need to get that physicality and get yourself ready to play football.
Reuben Foster's been flying around. I think that's what we expect. But has he been using the technique that you guys want him to use that maybe will protect his shoulders and keep him on the field this year?
He's working at it. It's shown. I think that's the hardest thing for all athletes. You do things that make you successful your entire life, and then you see there's different ways to do things and ways that you can change things up to maybe help your career. But that just doesn't happen automatically. You can say all you want. That's why you have to have a physical practice. If we're trying to get Reuben to use his hands a little bit more, not always fit with his shoulders and stuff, well, we're practicing hard out there. He's mindful of it, so you can see him starting to use it. Sometimes he does what he's always done. But if you practice that way every day, then he has a chance in the season to have improved. If you don't have a physical camp, you never put pads on, you can talk all you want, but you're not just thinking about it. This is muscle memory and how your body reacts in the heat of battle. So these are situations we're trying to put him in as much as we can. And Reuben's very mindful of it, so you can see him using it. And the more he does it each day, he'll develop some better habits.
There's something about McNichols' skill set that makes him stand out in the group of running backs?
Oh, I think we got a good group. All those guys are pushing each other hard. We like Jeremy coming out of college, and we were fortunate enough to steal him off Tampa's practice squad and put him on ours last year. And he got some learning experience being on our practice squad all year. He missed most of the offseason because he had to get a shoulder surgery, so now he's finally healthy, and he's got some running skills. He's similar to other guys. He can press it, he can hit it, he's got some speed. But today was the first day we saw him in pads, his first day back from his shoulder, so it's real early to know about him, but we've liked him so far, and he'll have a chance here as we get going.
Jimmy talked the other day about his confidence level. How does that confidence manifest itself on the field?
I think everyone can feel when. I mean, Jimmy's confident in himself, and I think everyone felt that right away. That's why guys gravitate to guys. Doesn't matter what people say or how they act. People can tell when people believe in themselves and when they don't. But it shows the most on the field. When you're having success as a quarterback, as a receiver, as anybody, that confidence is only going to grow. And when people start seeing you, the more plays you can put together, the higher it gets. So it's been pretty good so far.
There was that one pitch left to Joe late where it just seemed that he shot out of a cannon. Is that kind of the run that is really conducive to his skill set?
Yes, and that was a very good hole for him. They blocked it very well. And Joe has the size and speed and explosiveness to, if he has a good hole and he hits it and doesn't hesitate, he can make some big plays. And he got an opportunity where he had some space and it was really good. There was zero hesitation. He hit it without blinking, and I think that's why it was a pretty good result.
Yesterday, you didn't seem too happy with some of the confusion with some of the scripted plays. There was one instance, I believe it was Kendrick Bourne, who had some confusion motioning in the backfield. What happened on that? And are you guys still scripting plays today?
Yeah, we'll script. I think we script till Tuesday, and then we'll always have scripted periods, and then you have a couple team move the ball periods. But I'm not exactly sure what happened on a specific play, but it happens a lot. Sometimes you're in a huddle, and the quarterback says Z left, and the receivers thought he said X left. And you just come out of the huddle, and it gets confusion, and you re-huddle. We had too much of it yesterday. Very rarely, especially early in camp, do you not have at least one of those throughout a practice, especially when you're rotating 11 to 12 receivers in and out every play, and they're changing 3 positions. So it is a little hectic. Sometimes it's on the players, sometimes it's on the coaches, so they didn't sub them right. Myself and the quarterbacks, we don't wait. We just call the play and go. So there's kind of a panic from, Mike LaFleur, our receiver coach, to TC McCartney and Katie, helping getting those guys in, subbing them in and out. We go fast, so it's a little stressful. We put pressure on everybody, but it doesn't bother me when there's 1 or 2. It's part of camp at this time. But when you get to about 8 or 10, it gets a little frustrating.
A couple long throws to Marquise that Jimmy missed. I mean, what's your assessment of those 2 plays? I know it's very early, but
Yeah, just get more opportunities at it and get more reps, and I'm not worried about making those, but they're not automatic. You need to practice them, and it's hard to get opportunities down the field going against cover 3. It's a bend but don't break scheme, so it's kind of tough to get those ops. But when you do get them, you got to make the best out of that rep. And we actually got a few today. It was disappointing we didn't come down with them, but hopefully that'll make us better the next time we get those reps.
what's the coaching point for you just to try to get Jimmy to maybe be more accurate with those throws?
Give him more opportunities, put your eyes in the right spot, getting used to the difference of receivers, the speed, how when you say where something's going to be, but it's bump coverage and the DB moves the receiver a little bit, and now it's slightly in a different spot. You want to know where you expect it to be, but then you got to see things and know how to adjust. And very rarely, except on a go route, do you know that you're throwing deep. I mean, you have 3-level throws, you have 2-level throws. You don't know where you're going with that ball till you get to the top of your drop and you see who's jumping what, and then you got to let it go on time. So it's not always about just can you throw it. It's the rhythm of it, how to hit it, and it's hard to orchestrate a lot, especially when you don't get the right coverages. But that's something we're trying to orchestrate for them, and it's the challenge always with quarterbacks and receivers throughout camp.
For a tall guy, does Stephen Dunbar have that short area quickness that you're looking for?
Yeah, I think so. He's done a good job in these 3 days. He did a decent job in OTAs too, and we got a good group of receivers, and it's going to be a fun battle to watch.
Because of that rhythm you just talked about, how important is it for Jimmy to have the full offseason here with you?
I think it's very important. It's very important for everyone. I know he played very well last year, but it's going to be a long season, and there's lots of situations you can go through that happen every quarter and week to week. So there's lots of things you have to adjust throughout the year, and you don't know if things we're doing now, it might not come up till week 8. But whenever it might come up week 1, you don't know. It depends what you're going against. But at least when it does come up, even if it's been a while, you can go back to something and remember it. So when you get out those reps on Wednesday and Thursday that are carded to get ready for a game on Sunday, it's not all about the 3 reps you got that week. You can go back to the film you had in camp, study that a little bit, because it's not like you can get on a Friday and put Marquise on 15 post routes till you guys are perfect, and then you feel good about it going on Sunday. That might work there, but Marquise now is going to be slow and not slower or not as fast on Sunday because you've worn him out on Friday. So that's why you got to work people now, because if you don't get that foundation now, it's almost impossible to play catch up in the year.
Kyle, how much are you emphasizing to Joe Williams, just consistency, holding on to the ball, all those
A
things?
ton, and it's a mindset. I've talked about it before. I think Joe's got a lot of ability, and it's been very apparent that he has had a different mindset this year than he did last year, and sometimes that just takes time. Everyone handles it differently, and it took Joe a little bit, I think, mentality-wise, but just watching him out there today, the run we just brought up, running back, you cannot think you have to hit it and not hesitate, and he's been doing that in OTAs, and he did it in these 3 practices, and it was real neat to get the pads on today, and he got a few good opportunities, and he didn't flinch, he hit it, and had some pretty good results for it. So you hope he can feel that and give him some confidence and continue to build off it.
Do you think this running back core is probably the most competitive unit you guys have out there?
We got a lot of competitive units. I think, our receivers very competitive. Our running backs are. Our linebackers are. We got some, that's what we were trying to say earlier on. That's when you go into camp, last year we didn't know a lot of our guys, but you still knew who had a chance and who didn't. And out of our 90 people, I'd say almost all 90 of those guys do have a chance.
You're deciding on that number 3 running back in early September. How much does special teams and just a Sunday contribution factor into it?
A ton. That's a lot of stuff that goes into decisions that people don't totally understand, because you rarely play 3 running backs at once. Usually that third running back is one of your better special teams players, just because of the type of body he has and things like that. But also, you get one running back in the game hurt. If he's a special teams running back, now if that's all he is, it's going to be hard to win the game if you need to use him as a running back. So you got to balance all that out. So special teams is a huge bonus for all positions to make the team, but you can't dress everybody on game day. So that special teams player is, 1 play away, sometimes 2 plays away from having to win that game for us at a position. So you have to be good at your position also.
Obviously, you guys picked up Eric's option for next season. What are your impressions of him so far in camp, just knowing everything that he has riding on this season?
Eric shows up a lot in OTAs because of his length and stuff. He tips a lot of balls. I think it's hard for D linemen sometimes without pads on, because we want them to get after the quarterback, but they better never touch the quarterback. So it's kind of speaking out of both sides of my mouth. So it's going to be fun to go in there today. I didn't get to see one-on-ones, but watch how his pass rushes were and things. It's a little easier for a lineman to have a chance to block guys when you have pads on. So today was one of the more realistic days to judge D linemen, and I'm excited to see that when I get in.